Hey everyone, Jeremy here. It is Thursday night, and we're going to create some art. It's going to be awesome. I see a couple people already in the room, so I want to give a shout out to Rome Dog. We've got Kid in the room. We've got Willy Nilly. Yeah, as the title suggests, we're going to do a Sasquatch tonight. You guys have been asking for it for a while. I keep putting it off and everything, but it's the Halloween season, so it's the time for monsters. I wouldn't really call Sasquatch a monster. It's more like just American folklore. But it is a big part of Americana, the old Sasquatch. I remember like being a kid and stuff, being told stories about Sasquatches being out in the woods and everything. So it's one of my favorites. I might actually do a series of these type of creatures over the next week or so for Halloween. Another one of my favorites is Mothman. But anyway, I've told these stories before, so I'm just going to jump right in and get started. I don't know how long this is going to take, but I was really looking forward to doing this. When you guys requested it, I wasn't sure how I was going to do like a Sasquatch or something like that. But then I started thinking like, hey, this is a great opportunity to do like figure drawing, which I haven't done much on this show. I don't really do, like full figure people, for example. So, great opportunity for that. So I'm just going to jump right in. So I decided I'm going to do this in charcoal just because like I actually want to draw this. I want to do it like a figure drawing, not like paint it or like do the coffee painting or anything like that. Hold on, let me get a swig of this. That's good stuff. So I'm going to use some of my techniques for doing charcoal pictures. So I've got my blending stump here. I've got a stick of charcoal. I'm going to start by like just kind of figuring out where on the page he is. I kind of started with like a little sketch. You can kind of see it on the page, but I wanted to develop that a little bit more. For the composition, I didn't just want to do like the face of a Bigfoot. I didn't even want to just do the torso or like the body of a Bigfoot. I kind of wanted to show off, his big feet. So for my composition, I think I'm going to have, and I also wanted to do like a little bit of experimentation with figure drawing, just because like this is a show where I'm trying to learn and become better at, drawing. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to have like his body up here, and then I think I'm going to have him with his foot like up towards the front, like the view port of the paper. So it's almost like you're like an ant or on the ground looking up at Bigfoot and he's about to stomp on you. So that's what I have in mind. So it's just going to be like a Bigfoot. So let's see how I can pull this off. But anyway, I appreciate you guys showing up because the Can's in here as well. Yeah, he likes, because the Can likes these kind of cryptid creatures as well. So that's kind of cool. So again, I'm just going to kind of like sketch in with this blending stump quickly, like where I think things might be based on the shadows. So this first part isn't going to be very like high render or anything like that. It's just going to be, I just want to know where things are. So I do think like this is going to be the foot. Like this is how big the foot's going to be. It's going to be crazy. Geppetto's like, hold my brush. I love it. Yeah, you guys have been asking for a Bigfoot for a while. I kept putting it off. I'm like, I can't keep putting it off. The other thing I've been putting off, and I kind of feel bad about it, is I'm supposed to do like a collaborative stream with Rum Dog. I haven't set that up yet. Sorry, Rum Dog. I've just been really busy this week. I haven't had a chance to reach out to you. I'm hoping we can get that going next week if you're available. So, expect me to kind of reach out about that pretty soon. So the other thing that's weird about this picture is I don't really like feet. Like, I don't know, like some people like have like foot fetishes or whatever. It's kind of weird to me because like I think feet are gross. Like, they're weird. Like I don't like drawing hands, or I'm just not good at drawing hands. But feet are like way worse. I like, um, but I'm gonna do it just for the sake of art. It depends on the foot. Yeah, I guess so. Like, I mean, most feet, I don't know. They're just kind of like Bigfoot's foot. And you know that stinks. Like this guy just lives. The other thing, I gotta make sure I count toes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure I get all the toes in here. Yeah. So again, I'm not spending a lot of time on making this look good or anything like that. I'm just trying to figure out where things are. Uh, But yeah, this is a big old foot up in here. Like he's a he's about to stomp on you. Um, so I I didn't want to just draw Bigfoot. I wanted to draw Bigfoot with a Bigfoot, if that makes sense. So I think that this actually should come out a little bit more. The other thing by drawing with this like blending stump is I keep it kind of light and I can kind of move things around a little bit. So I think we're gonna have his body here. So this would be like his chest area. Um, the other thing, like drawing figures and stuff like that is so tough. Like if you were drawing Geppetto here and he was standing up straight, it might be a little bit easy. But if you're doing like a gesture, like what we're doing here, where he's got his foot raised up and everything, it's actually pretty hard. Because you got to get all the proportions right. You got to figure out like where like one part starts and another part ends. It's pretty tough, or at least it is for me. Let me move this out of the way. Yeah, but we'll figure it out. This piece is already pretty fun. Cool. Yeah. See, I wanted it to be like a nice little fun drawing. Um, a little bit different than what we normally do. So this is all going to be like shadow. If I have time, I might put in some trees and stuff behind him because he is like a creature of the woods, like he's basically a human who lives in the woods, like a wild man or something like that. Let's see. So if you were doing figure drawing, yeah, you do like the challenges. I know, kid, like I appreciate it too. I want to be challenged. I don't want to just do the same boring stuff all the time. I don't consider it boring, but I also don't want to do the same stuff all the time. I want to get outside my comfort zone, do different things. Like I said, like figure drawing and stuff is something I've been wanting to do for a long time. Um, when you are doing figure drawing, it is a lot of drawing, shadows. So I think that's a lot of fun here. Somehow I got to get some like some fur looking stuff up in here as well. Like he's basically wearing like a big old monkey suit, but he's not a monkey. He's Bigfoot, a little bit different. That's the other thing. When I was trying to come up with a way of drawing Bigfoot that I would be happy with, I was thinking like I've done gorillas, and I wanted to kind of differentiate Bigfoot from just your like your standard gorilla. So anyway, enough preamble. Let's just draw. So he kind of like I can picture him. So over here is going to be like his hand. Just sketch that in, like just hanging down. I can picture him like like with a basketball in his hand. I really can. Like this is like a nice little basketball player here. As far as like the face goes, I wasn't really sure where I wanted to go with a Bigfoot face because you can make it very gorilla-like, very ape-like, or you can go the like Neanderthal kind of face, which I think most people do. It kind of looks humanoid, kind of looks a little bit Neanderthal. Thinking like Harry and the Hendersons. You guys remember that movie? I haven't seen that movie in forever. I want to kind of see that again, but I remember that from being a kid, and that's probably the first time I thought that Bigfoot was a cool character. Is Harry and the Hendersons. And if you look at like all the renditions of Bigfoot since then, they're kind of based on that Harry and the Hendersons character. Even if you think of like, was it like Jack's Links or something, the beef jerky. Uh, that version of Sasquatch is very much like a almost an evil brother of like Harry from Harry and the Hendersons. Duck-billed platypus anteater. Obscure looking animals might be a challenge. Yeah, so like that's the other thing. Even when I do animals, it's pretty much like I choose like a kind of a safe composition and stuff. I don't do like the full deer. I pick a version of the deer that I think would be aesthetically cool, and I don't really get into like the whole um, figure of the deer. This is a little bit different, you know. Like I'm having to do the entire body of this guy, but it's fun. You know, I'm enjoying it. It's really cool. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying it as well. But we are staring down Halloween too. Like Halloween is right around the corner. I forgot how close we are to Halloween until I looked at the calendar today, and I was like, you know, I gotta do something. What should I do? And I was like, oh, maybe I should do a Halloween thing just because, like, I mean, it's like what, 2 weeks from now? That's pretty close. Maybe even less. I don't know. I have no concept of time. The whole reason why I do this live stream is so that I can remind myself what day it is. I'm joking, but not by much. So as you can see, like a lot of this is just kind of figuring out where shadows are and stuff. I'll put in the like details and stuff later. But you know, like here on his big old foot, we got some shadows where like I don't know what that is called, like the pad of the foot or something. It's not the ball of the foot. Ball of the foot's down here, I think. But we'll get it in there. Yeah, I'm just not very good at drawing hands, so I'm not sure if I'm going to do this justice. I also kind of want it to look a little bit gnarly, so I kind of want like some creases in here and stuff like that for the bottom of his foot. Like, I don't spend a lot of time looking at my own foot, so I don't know what my foot looks like. It's a little tough to figure out what a foot looks like. I've got some reference pictures and stuff like that, but no 2 feet look the same. But they all look weird. Get some shadows up in here. All right, so I think that's pretty good for figuring out where the guy is. Sorry, gotta get the base of this foot going over here. And then, like I said, I might put in like some rocks down here and maybe some trees in the background, but I want to make sure I get my guy in here first. Kid says, looking good so far. Thanks, appreciate that. All right, so the next step I'm going to do is I've got some water here. I've got, again, my charcoal stick. I'm going to like get this wet and I'm going to try to like brush in some shadowed fur, I think. So we got some shadow there. We got a little bit here. Bigfoot's jacked. He's all like, "Argh." I gotta get a face in here that looks really good too. But you know, I don't have a lot of space here. This is a rather small head, so hopefully I can get a decent looking face in there, do him justice. But right now, I'm just working on trying to get some shadows. I can't say if it looks like Rome's ex-wife. Yeah, Rome did talk about Bigfoot looking like his ex-wife. Yeah, you do have to try this wet charcoal method. I mean, it comes off so smooth. You can use a blending stump to get similar effects and stuff, but this wet charcoal, it just makes things so easy for like getting in like large areas and getting in shadows and stuff pretty quick. You've seen me do it a lot. I love this method. Honestly, I can't do just dry charcoal anymore just because this is like just part of my method now. Just get some fur in there. The other thing about doing like figure art like this is it's kind of prep for what I'd like to do is like one day I'm never going to do this because I will find excuses not to. But one day I would love to make a nice little graphic novel with people doing things, and you need to be able to like have them have them standing, have them posing, have them walking around doing whatever, so that you can tell your story. So I don't know what story would be here, but you've got a Bigfoot out in the woods who's about to step on you, and you're like a little small, I don't know, chipmunk. We're gonna call you a chipmunk. You're a little tiny chipmunk out in the woods, and Bigfoot is going to step on you. So that's the story here. So you need to be able to do like figure art and stuff. The sexiest Bigfoot you ever saw. Oh man, you made me drop my charcoal. That's funny. Well, this isn't the sexiest Bigfoot. I was gonna draw an actual sexy Bigfoot. There is a picture, like if you go Googling Bigfoot, just Bigfoot like pictures and stuff. There's a picture of Bigfoot doing the whole like laying back kind of stance, and he's got like a raccoon covering his like private parts, I guess. That is the sexiest Bigfoot. So he's basically a lounging Bigfoot with like a raccoon. And I was gonna draw that, but I'm like, well, I don't. Let me try to be creative here and not just copy somebody else's idea. I wanna like branch out and do my own like composition. So that's why I'm doing this. But the sexy Bigfoot is definitely the one lounging back. I thought that one's cute, especially the addition of the raccoon. I thought that would have been fun to draw, but I ultimately settled on going my own way just to be creative. So, I don't mind using other people's stuff as inspiration. I do it all the time, like just to practice and everything like that. But I only really want to like use other people's ideas for like composition and stuff like that. I wouldn't want to like copy their work exactly. Now, that said, that is actually a part of the learning process of being like an artist and stuff. You do sometimes do like what's called master studies. I don't, but other people do. Like you might go to like an art museum and look at, you know, uh, one of the artists that you like or something, and you may try to like literally copy their work and stuff just to see if you can. Um, that may be something I try to do at some point, but I don't have the confidence I'll be able to pull it off. So also this brush makes for really good fur, right? So like we're getting some pretty good fur up in here. But it's a quick way of doing it. Even if you're not really using like this isn't that wet, it's pretty dry. Even if you're just using like a dry brush to put down some charcoal and stuff, it's a pretty good method for doing that. Some fur up in here. I'll come back and add some detail to his face later. Right. But yeah, the wet charcoal, you just get some water on your brush, come over here, just kind of dab at it and stuff, and then you can kind of like quickly put in. Now this is going to be a little bit smoother because this is foot, but you can quickly put in some tone and get that whole realistic shading going on pretty quick, you know. And it comes out smooth, right? So like, yeah, I'm getting charcoal everywhere. It comes out smooth, so like watercolor and stuff, it's not going to be sketchy or anything like that. That's what I love about this. It just kind of brings everything together. Hey, Mama Q, how's it going? Who's Yeti for some art, Jeremy? I love it. Oh, I love all the puns. You guys are so good at this. Where's Packer Jack? He's a master of puns. Rum Dog says, I love the perspective. Rum would eat bees and always wondered what the perspective. Yeah, so that's the other thing. Like every now and then, you have to challenge yourself with a perspective that you're not used to drawing. Like if I was just drawing a Bigfoot, I would probably try to just like draw his face or something like that, or like maybe his upper body. I wouldn't think normally. Well, obviously I did today, but I wouldn't be inclined to do this kind of perspective, which I think is really great for like, I mean, he's Bigfoot, right? So you should show up his feet. What do you think of when you think of Bigfoot? You think of feet. So let's show it off. He needs a big old bunion. I don't know how to draw a bunion. I'm lucky if I get a foot in here that looks right at all, but we'll get it working. So for those just tuning in, which like is a whole five people, um, the process is to start with like kind of feeling your way around with that. that blending stump, and then come back and kind of like add in some shade, some some shadows and stuff fairly quickly like this, and then we'll come back and add some like detail and everything and make things look right. And then maybe, we might come back and add some trees and stuff behind them. We'll see how it goes. Make sure I get this lake looking right. I'm always worried about like with with faces, like when I'm doing portraits and stuff, I always like get the perspective like or the proportions all wrong and stuff. I'm really worried about that kind of stuff with like doing a figure drawing because like if you make the legs too short or you make the arms too short or something like that, it's a little bit different with like a fantasy creature like Bigfoot or a mythological creature, I should say. Because like, who's to say that Bigfoot doesn't have like really long arms or something like so you can kind of fudge it a little bit, but if you're drawing a person, you have to be a little bit careful to make them if you're drawing anything recognizable, you have to be a little bit careful to make sure that you actually pull that off so that people recognize what you're drawing. But I think this is pretty good. I think the legs are right and the arms are right, stuff like that. Toe ring. I should do a toe ring. Um, if I was doing this in color, I should have them like with pink toenails and stuff like that. That would be cool. What's the toe ring look like? I don't even know. Like I wouldn't even know how to draw that. You guys try to trip me up because like when you say toe ring, I kind of want to do it, but I don't know what a toe ring looks like, so I wouldn't be able to like pull that off. I don't have toe rings myself. I don't like feet, so I don't like walking around like even in flip flops myself. If I go to the beach or whatever, obviously I'm walking around barefoot, but I don't like it. Like even around the house and stuff, I know that some people walk around with like no socks on or anything like just bare feet and stuff. I couldn't do it. That is not me. If that's you, hey, great, have at it. That is not me. I'm not gonna judge much. Yeah, I'm gonna judge. That's gross. Keep your feet to yourself. Yeah, I think this is looking pretty good. All right, cool. You get some shadow up through here. Just because so like the sun, I think, is going to be around here. Basically, the sun hits off of these toes and kind of hits off of this area and kind of comes down. So the arm here would definitely be in shadow. Basically, his little crotch area here and stuff that would be in shadow. The shadow would come down this leg and kind of extend into the front part here. So I think we're good on the shadows here. I think this is pretty good. All right, so just so that I can make them look recognizable, I'm gonna go ahead and try to tackle a face here real quick, just so that we have a face to work with. MJ says, uh, yeah, I always had slippers. Yeah, um, yeah. If you go to the beach, you have to have like flip flops or something like that. But around the house, socks or slippers or slipper socks, those are fun. You got to do something like that. All right, so I'm going to try to draw a face in here. So for the face, I'm going to start by just basically getting in this really dark brow because, like, whether he's an ape or like a Neanderthal, whichever kind of Bigfoot you're going with, they're kind of similar. He's going to have these deep inset eyes, right? So like if you're looking for like a friendly Willie says I usually have socks. This is cool. So yeah, like going barefoot is just weird. I don't know. Like maybe there's somebody out there that does that, and they're gonna take offense to me saying it's gross, but I'm not into it. Um, so like, it, you can go both directions on a Bigfoot. Like Bigfoot, you can make him like look really friendly and Harry and the Hendersons kind of Bigfoot, or you can make him look really scary. I'm gonna kind of go. I'm gonna try to do a little bit scary here, not because like trying to scare anybody. I just want him to look like a little bit menacing. Um, but you can go either way. You can have a very friendly face. You can have a goofy face. You can almost do like a bit of a cartoonish um, character. But I really want these deep set eyes. So I want these eyes like really in heavy shadow. Just because I want to draw, like and drawing to me is like, separating light from shadows and stuff like that. So for my character here, just kind of want these menacing, deep set eyes. So I think he's looking cool. Um, that's a Bigfoot. Great picture, Jeremy. Thanks. We'll see if it comes out like looking good when it's all done. You ever see anyone running barefoot outside? Those guys are nuts. Like this guy, yeah. Um, like I'm gonna go ahead and throw him under the bus because like sometimes he watches my shows, sometimes he doesn't. But my older brother, he has this weird habit. He goes everywhere without shoes, and I don't mind calling him out in public because I would say it to his face. It's just weird. But yeah, he goes everywhere without shoes. I don't know where he gets that from. Like the rest of like my other sibling does not do that. I don't do that, but he does, and he's always done it. He's always fancied himself like an islander. He was in the Navy, and he really liked Jimmy Buffett and stuff like that. So I think that's where it comes from. It's like part of his brand, I guess, to go around barefoot. But it's just gross. It's not good, and I will tell him to his face. I like messing with my siblings. We all get along. We didn't always get along as kids and stuff. Like we're brothers. I don't have any sisters, but me and my brothers, we always like mess with each other like brothers do. Hey, Lorraine's in the house. Cool. Hi everyone. Jeremy, you could not live in Australia. Nope. No, probably not. I'm not sure if I could like live in a beach community. Like I can picture like in a beach community, you being pretty relaxed and like, you certainly are walking around in flip-flops and stuff, but I could see some people just walking around like barefoot all the time. But that is not for me. It is not. I need a small blending stump here just to get some of these features in. Sorry. His face is his head is so small. It's really hard to get these things in with a charcoal, but I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna pull it off, guys. I'm not wearing shoes. Eventually, my feet will hurt, and I'll have to put shoes on. Yeah. You know, I don't like if you're doing like I guess if you're walking on beach, the sand is pretty soft. You don't have to worry so much from that standpoint. But short of that, yeah, your feet are gonna start hurting if you're not wearing shoes. I've worn flip flops and tried to walk around them like for like extended periods of time. I get like blisters and stuff, and it doesn't work out for me. We're gonna get like a little nice, mean looking Bigfoot up in here, which is cool. Because like Halloween coming up, you don't want like a friendly Bigfoot. You want your Bigfoot to like scare little children. Nah, we don't want to scare kids. Yeah, we do. So he's got like one of those noses that are like definitely ape-like. So again, you can make it more human-like nose if you want to. I'm not going to because like this one I think is pretty good just to because I don't have a lot of space. I don't want to add like a lot of features to his nose. I just kind of want to drag these shadows down off his face and you know really highlight the hair and stuff like that. I don't want to put a lot of detail into his face. He looks unimpressed. he, he looks unimpressed with this portrait I've done. Yeah, for real. There's there's different. You're an artist. You get to do whatever you want to with your character. So like you could get the you can do the Bigfoot that's the guardian of the forest, and he's got like birds on his shoulders. He's like, you know, being being that guy, or you can be the mean looking Bigfoot that I've got here. This wanting to stomp on your face. So I need to pull this back over here a little bit because the way it was looking. Yeah. So I like his face. It looks pretty cool. Geppetto has a paintbrush. How long has he had a paintbrush? Just tonight. He's just so every now and then I like to give him something to hold. He's appreciative of that. He wants a bigger role. Like he wants to replace me as the artist, and me lay on the table. Uh, I don't trust Geppetto. I think he's starting to develop a bit of an attitude. Yeah, he definitely wants. So like he he's my he's my co-host here, but lately he's been asking for a raise, and I don't want to give it to him, but he's been pretty insistent. He's like, "Look, they don't tune in to watch you. They tune in to watch me and the dog. So you're basically like useless." And he's probably right to an extent, but I just don't want him to know that because like, he can't hear right now because he doesn't have ears. Um, but I'm afraid of him like getting like I don't know ideas or something. Yeah, he basically wants to take over. So um, we don't want that. Well, maybe some people want that, but well, he definitely wants that. But I don't want that. I like to draw, and if Geppetto kicks me off the show, I don't get to draw. So that's no good. So yeah, so you can see how something that is basically just like just scribbles and stuff like that can start to develop features. So you just kind of keep working at it and get some wrinkles up in here. That's a key feature of Bigfoot. So he's got like a high forehead. He's got wrinkles all over it, um, and then he's got these heavy like pronounced brows. Basically like a Neanderthal or something like that. He's a he's a couple of steps removed from humans, modern humans, but we're definitely like relatives in my mind. But he hides out in the woods. He's a shy guy. He doesn't like to talk too much and hang out with people. He'd rather just stomp on your face. uh, let's see. Rome, I keep thinking about the perspective of the bee. Yeah, that's kind of yeah. Like there's a bee in this picture and he's being stomped on. I like doing things like that where you think about different perspectives. Um, I have I have climbed up on ladders sometimes for no reason, just to see things from a different point of view. I like different perspectives. Um, I when I was younger and stuff, I used to hang out on the roof of my house, well, my parents' house, and just hang out up there and stuff like that, just because it's different, you know, different point of view. Get bored kind of seeing the same thing. Got to get that fur just kind of coming off the shoulder here. So that's looking pretty good. I like this. I'm gonna go back now that I've got a face in there. I'm gonna go back and kind of like add some more shadows with my brush. Kind of maybe less water just to make it darker. I can do that. Just to kind of fill in some of these areas so that when I come back over with the actual pencil, it's less work, right? So like if you do these dark areas here with the brush, when you come back over it with like the pencil and stuff, you're doing like the detail layer above this it's kind of mid-tone, I guess it would be. Rum Rum Dog, the birds talk to the bees and the bird speaks to the man. Nice. I do like the idea of like Bigfoot being like the guardian of the forest, right? That's kind of cool because like, you could think of Bigfoot as like a dumb animal, like a bear or something like that. And actually, bears are pretty smart. But you can think of him as just basically an animal and stuff like that. But if you think about it, he's somewhere on the ancestry of human beings, right? So somewhere up in there, he's intelligent. He probably uses tools. Like you never see Bigfoot with tools and stuff, but Neanderthals use tools. I don't know what else is in human history besides Neanderthals. There might be like another like missing link in there somewhere. But you know, this guy he's got some intelligence. Uh, so the idea that Bigfoot is like the protector of the forest, um, an intelligent benefactor to the forest and stuff like that. That's not that far fetched. Well, it's kind of far fetched because like Bigfoot, it's tough to pin down and say he exists or not. Um, but people have seen Bigfoot. It's a pretty common sighting. So like, what did they see? Did they see a bear? Like, I don't know. It's open to opinion. But um, sightings of Bigfoot, they continue to today. Like I don't know about those shows on like I don't know, probably like History Channel or whatever channel has the Bigfoot stuff. I don't know if like any of that's true, but you uh you do hear about Bigfoot sightings occasionally and stuff. It's like you can't just dismiss all of it. Like some of it might be real. I don't know. Yeah, and he eats beef jerky. Exactly. Exactly. Was it Jack Slinks or something like that? I don't know. But yeah, Bigfoot eats beef jerky. So as you can see, so like by putting in that kind of um, mid thing, it makes it easier to kind of come back over it and add this fur. So this is a cool style for like I don't know, like I said, maybe comic books, things like that. It it's definitely cool for doing like fur. You know, I would like to maybe do like actual figure art where like you're doing like I don't know like the shadows of like bear skin things like that. But doing fur is fun. I like it because you just kind of just get to flow with it. Like the fur is just kind of well, he's dipping his toe checking for warm waters. Yes. So in my mind, he's kind of standing in like a creek bed or something like that. You'd have like some woods and trees and stuff all around him. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get to that tonight, but that's what I have in my mind as far as like the setting for him and stuff like that. Let me get his I suck at doing hands, but I'm gonna give it a shot here just because I want to do justice, just like the feet. Ugh. Maybe it's easier to do small hands like this. Such good bourbon. Well, it's like, thank you. I'm here all night. Try the veal. Yeah, we're all amateur comedians. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I like the gesture here. This is a good gesture. I'm pretty happy with this so far. So again, I got to make sure that I don't put in the wrong. So some of these fingers here are going to be kind of hidden behind other ones, so I'm not too worried about that. But I don't want to make something that doesn't look realistic. Yeah. Yeah, that looks pretty realistic. All right, cool. Okay, all right. I'm no longer stressed about this hand. I was super stressed about it a moment ago. I think even if I just left it like this, it'll look fine. But I'm gonna clean it up a little bit. Yeah, that looks cool. And then kind of get the fur kind of as a cuff or something. I like the I like the I don't know. Like I've got some pretty long. There you go. I've got some pretty long fingers myself, but I like that, Bigfoot would have just like this kind of really long fingers. So I like that aspect of this. This is looking pretty good. Let's shade in some of this stuff. Yeah, that looks pretty cool. All right, neat. Like it. Jeremy, you sure you are not a professional artist? I'm pretty sure I'm not a professional artist. But I'm getting there. I'm doing all right, I think. I'm doing better than when I started, like a year ago, or I guess almost 2 years now. Um, I think I've made progress. The I would count like a professional artist as somebody who can like consistently produce work that is like really good quality and stuff like that. And I'm getting better at it and stuff like that, but the consistency is not always there. Like I think this one's turning out okay, but like there's probably some misses as well. So I appreciate the compliment and like, but Jeremy, I like your perspective on Bigfoot. Thank you. Like, I think this is a cool layout for Bigfoot. I think it's a little bit more interesting than maybe just doing Bigfoot, just looking, looking bored. Yeah, Bigfoot's jacked. Look at that. He's got like the whatever those things are, pecs and stuff. He's like he's been working out. But he lives in the forest, so like he has to like lift logs and stuff. I don't know, climb trees, whatever. He is handsome. Yeah, he is like he's a very dapper Bigfoot. I think that looks pretty cool. Okay, so I'm gonna kind of move into this. I always do this. I always draw this side of it, and then I have to reach over it. So, but I need to get some definition over here in the foot, so that the foot doesn't look so weird. I do have like a reference picture of what a foot looks like, but I'm still not going to be able to pull this off. The problem is the foot is so big that I can't just like hide the details, I have to draw them. Move some of that stuff out. Drawing feet. So weird. Such a big foot. Get it? I mean, if you're gonna draw a big foot, you gotta draw a big foot, right? The funny catch here is that like you guys just asked me to draw a big foot. You didn't ask me to draw a Bigfoot. You didn't ask me to draw a Sasquatch. You asked me to draw a Bigfoot, right? So I'm just gonna draw the Bigfoot. I don't know. You guys might have asked me to draw a Sasquatch. I don't remember, but my interpretation is that it's a Bigfoot. If you're gonna draw a Bigfoot, draw a Bigfoot. I kind of want to watch Harry and the Hendersons now. Does anybody know if that's streaming anywhere? Like, is that something I can rent maybe on Amazon? I'm sure it's on Amazon for rent, but it'd be nice if somebody's like playing it for free or something like that. That would be cool. Or I can download it somewhere. It kind of sucks that some of you kids don't know what it was like back when we had Blockbusters, but um, it was kind of nice to go into Blockbuster and just be able to like find a movie. You didn't have to like go and do all this research to find out where something's streaming. Even like when everything switched to Netflix, where you could like Netflix was pretty cool back in the day. Like a lot of people, you youngins don't realize that Netflix used to be where you actually got discs by mail. I always thought that was pretty cool. I thought Netflix was actually a pretty good business model for that because like if you think about um, what Blockbuster was like, a movie basically had to be good enough to justify its space on the shelf because you only had so much space. You couldn't like put every single movie ever made on the shelf at a Blockbuster. there wasn't space for it. So Netflix really had a cool model. Um, and I was a subscriber back in the day, where you can go off and, you know, basically find a DVD, and it was easier to find a DVD, like an obscure DVD at Netflix, just because, like, they had that back catalog, where they didn't have to worry about something justifying its space on the shelf. Like, I could find some obscure movie. Like, there's a movie that I used to like, or I still like, called Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead. Okay, it's about these two minor characters from, like, Shakespeare's Hamlet, and it's got Richard Dreyfuss in it, and Gary Oldman and Tim Roth. It's just such a smart and funny movie. It's based on a play by Tom Stoppard. So it's very cerebral, right? Like, you can tell it's a movie for nerds, nerds who like, literature, like I do. I like Hamlet, um, and like, you know Shakespeare and stuff like that. So I like that kind of stuff. But as you can imagine, it's a very limited audience, right? So for Blockbuster to have that movie, it would probably be like, nah, because it's not going to justify its space on the shelf. But Netflix would have it. You could rent it from Netflix, and I did, and it was pretty nice. Um, but now it kind of sucks because it's like, now they're doing the streaming thing almost exclusively, and I think it is exclusively. I don't think they do the DVD by mail anymore. So now you're back to, well, is something streaming or is it not? And if it's not, then you'll never see it, and that kind of sucks, right? So, like, if I wanted to, I mean, I own Rosencrantz and Guildenstern, so I could just go pop the DVD in. But actually, I think I have it on Blu-ray. But if I didn't, looking for a place to stream that would be kind of difficult. Actually, I think that movie is actually on here on YouTube. If you want to see a cool movie, okay, yeah, if you want to see a cool movie, about two minor characters from Hamlet, go watch Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead. It's a I liked it. I thought it was a good movie. You guys might be like, "Oh, this is like a dumb movie. Like, I don't get it," and stuff like that. But I liked it, and I think people should watch it. Anyway, somehow I've got to get like creases in these feet. Like, down here, it should be like really full of creases and stuff. But I'm gonna build up to that, I think. Um, So the again, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern Are Dead is based on a play by Tom Stoppard. It's kind of interesting. So in the play, Hamlet, uh, Hamlet is not happy. I don't want to spoil it for you, but basically, his father, the king, died. He's the prince of Denmark, and his father died under mysterious circumstances. And then suddenly, his his uncle, the king's brother, is shacking up with the queen, right? And he's like, "What's going on here? Why is uncle, whatever, with my mom? Like, it's a little bit creepy." And he suspects foul play and stuff on the part of the brother, who is now king because his Hamlet's father like died, right? Was murdered, essentially, according to, like, what do you think? I think there was a ghost that shows up as well. Like, his father shows up as like a ghost and tells him, like, they killed me and stuff like that. But anyway, um, obviously, Hamlet's gonna be a little upset by that. But the uncle, who is now the king and stuff, he doesn't know why Hamlet is upset. He just sees that Hamlet's upset. So him and Gertrude, which is Hamlet's mother, send off for Hamlet's school chums to kind of like ascertain why he's upset, why he's depressed, kind of cheer him up a little bit and stuff like that. So Hamlet's school chums are called Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. Now they're two characters, okay, but they're basically viewed in like it's the same character. Like, there is no distinction between the two in the play. Like, it's always Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. It's never Rosencrantz or Guildenstern. It's always Rosencrantz and Guildenstern. So they're like I said, they're minor characters. They're friends of Hamlet and stuff, and they're basically the same character. Like there's no distinction between the two. It's always the same, and nobody cares about these characters. They're like these minor characters nobody ever thinks about. So um, Tom Stopper, when he was writing this play, he's like, I'm gonna explore what it's like for these guys when the story of the play isn't happening. So it's a little, it's pretty meta. It's like what happens to literary characters when they're not actually part of the plot, right? Like when they're not doing things. And it's really interesting to do these. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, just counting my toes here. Um, so it's really kind of interesting because these are the perfect characters to explore that because they're not very well developed. They don't have a backstory. I mean, they're school chums of Hamlet, but again, basically they're always referred to as like the same two, like they're referred to interchangeably without distinction and stuff like that. So in this play, Tom Stopper is like, well, what's going on with these guys when things are off stage and so on. And it's very interesting. So like if you watch it just for that kind of aspect of it, it's like I recommend it for that reason. Yeah, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. Exactly. It's funny. It's hilarious. And it's also like smart. It's also like a thinking movie and stuff. So I like it. And to my point, like it's not like it had a big audience. It's not like it was a blockbuster or anything like that. So the point was that at Blockbuster, it would be very difficult to justify sitting on the shelf if nobody's actually watching it. So I like that aspect of the old Netflix where you could go off and rent a DVD, have it show up by mail, and it could be something obscure like Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead because it doesn't. It, they have a long catalog of movies. Anyway, I think this is looking good. That's a realistic looking foot there. Yeah, flipping coins and yeah, basically, yeah, that's how the play and the movie starts. Actually, I actually have the play on the bookshelf over here. It's pretty cool. But the that's how the movie starts off. They're flipping coins, and I do think it's here on YouTube if anybody wants to like check it out and for free. But yeah, they're like flipping coins, and because they live in a meta universe, they're not real. They're fictional characters, but they don't know this. He goes to like he's flipping a coin, and a coin when you flip it will, half the time turn up heads and half the time turn up tails. It's the law of averages, and they know this is an intellectual concept, but because they're in this fictional world and they don't realize that they're fictional characters, they're flipping the coin. It's always turning up heads, and they don't understand why they don't have agency in their own story. Like they don't realize that they're written that way. Really, they think that they're real people, and they're like wondering. They're basically questioning their existence. Um, and it's kind of fascinating. I don't know, like it's hard to explain too. Like I'm not doing it justice, I'm sure, but if you want to watch a movie of that kind of nature, like a nerd kind of movie, I recommend it. I do like literature. I I at some point I found this list of like 100 greatest books of all time or something, or 100 greatest American novels, or no, it wasn't just American novels because Ulysses was in it, and that's James Joyce. But it was like the 100 best novels ever written or something, and I was trying to make my way through it, and I got pretty far. Like you know, I enjoy literature. I enjoy literature more than like Pulp Fiction or something like that. Like if you go off in I don't know, Tom Clancy novels or something like that. They're good. Don't get me wrong. But I enjoy like actual straight up literature, like Grapes of Wrath. Jack Kerouac. You know, William Shakespeare, things like that. And anyway, I was trying the one that I couldn't read is I couldn't read anything by James Joyce. Like James Joyce is celebrated as like the best novelist of all time. Like Ulysses, I think, is like the number one novel of all time, and it's so dense. It is so hard to read for me. Um, and it was the same with a portrait of the artist as a young man. Like I couldn't read that book either. It's just so thick and so dense with um, stuff. It's hard for me to get through. That said, I think I like James Joyce, and I like I like him as a writer and stuff like that. It's just very hard to get all the way through one of his books. But anyway, I was trying to do that for a while. I don't know how many I got through. It's 100 books, and I'm pretty sure I got through like 50 of them at least. So I don't know. It's one of those things that like it's 100 books to read before you die kind of list, you know. So I've got some time, I hope, unless Bigfoot squashes me out in the woods or something. I've got a little bit of time before I die to finish it. Famous last words, but I'll give it a shot. But yeah, I enjoy that kind of stuff. And Shakespeare has always been um, like one of my interests. I know like Shakespeare doesn't really translate to modern times so much, but if you kind of like read between the lines and stuff, it definitely applies to like modern times. Every now and then they'll do like a modern rework of something, like for example, Rosencrantz and Guildenstern are dead. That's a modern take on Shakespeare. Uh, Leonardo DiCaprio and uh, what's her name? The girl from My So-Called Life. I can't remember her name now, but anyway, they did Romeo and Juliet. That was back in the '90s. But it was a modern take on Shakespeare. And Mel Gibson did Hamlet. I always liked Hamlet. I wasn't really a theater kid as a kid and stuff, but all the girls were, so that's where I went. I was hanging out with the girls in drama club and things like that. Like I wasn't an actor. I have stage fright, but I helped build the sets and stuff like that. Claire Danes, that's it. Yeah. Oh, I had the biggest crush on her back in the day. Claire Danes. Yep. Um, Leonardo DiCaprio, Claire Danes is Romeo and Juliet. That's pretty cool, a cool show or a cool movie. I liked it. Lorraine says, "Love the look on Bigfoot's face. I like it. I do like how Bigfoot's looking here. So I'm gonna get these like little creases in his. I keep wanting to call it his paw. Gonna get these creases in his paw in here. All right, so down here, this definitely has to be a little bit darker. So I'm going to go off and try to get that really dark through here. This is the area of least amount of shadows. And the thing is, I kind of want to direct your eye down to this part. We're doing on time. We're doing good? Yeah, we're doing all right. Maybe I might be able to get some trees in behind him. Now it looks like he stubbed it, so maybe. Could you imagine Bigfoot stubbing his toe? Such a big toe. Like it is an enormous foot, so I can imagine him having trouble keeping track of it all the time. So that works for this story that we're building here. All right. Let me switch back to my pencil now and get some separation between like the foot and his leg because it's kind of blending together a little bit, and we don't want that. We want you to be certain of where the foot ends and the leg begins. Yeah, so like I don't know. Um, I kind of miss that aspect of Netflix. I like being able to stream movies and stuff, but now we're back to that what I was complaining about with the blockbuster thing is like obscure movies, things of that nature and stuff. They're really hard to justify. Um, the cost of putting them on streaming services and stuff. So like they end up being just kind of buried and stuff. Uh, and like rights issues and stuff like that. It's just a big mess nowadays with online streaming. Maybe it'll be different in the next like I don't know 5-10 years or something like that because like streaming's not going away. That's definitely the model that they're going with. I'm sure, um, but it is kind of a like a weird situation where you can't like it's hard to find like the really like obscure things. Like it's a season for like horror movies, so like that's probably a great example of like where you might have a like a B horror movie that you saw when you were a kid or something like that, and you like you barely even know the name of it, so you look it up and you find it online, and you're like, oh, this is a movie that I used to watch and stuff that I thought was like so campy and stuff. It was great, and then you like go to find it on streaming services, and it's like you can't find it anywhere, and that kind of sucks, you know. Back in the day, you used to be able to find that kind of stuff on Netflix. Guess you can't anymore. You can't even rent movies from Redbox anymore. Like, I don't know. Any of you guys ever rent movies from like Redbox? I used to do that quite a bit. Like, I'd be coming home from work on a Friday night, and I'm like, I want to watch a movie. So I'd stop at like a Redbox or something like that and pick one up. This is the last thing that a beetle sees. Yeah. I wanted the composition to be like Bigfoot is going to stomp on something. And I like how this looks. But yeah, that's pretty cool. But like I mentioned at the beginning of this, is I want to do more figure drawing. So like human beings, people, Bigfoots, why not, right? And I there's periodically there's a place nearby that has like figure drawing sessions. They have people who come in and stand around while you draw them and stuff like that. I haven't been to one of those, but whenever they come up, I'm like, man, I'm gonna go and do that. And then I just get busy and I'm not able to. That's kind of why I stopped doing my stream on Friday nights and I started doing them on Thursdays. Is because these things always seem to pop up on Fridays. So like in my mind, I'm like, well, I'll have more free time. Truth is, I end up spending my Fridays just doing stuff and not doing this. But it is something I'd like to do. I like actually standing across from somebody and trying to draw them like in real time and stuff. I think that would be a lot of fun. I think that would be kind of cool and definitely a challenge, like just drawing somebody from like scratch. Uh, like learning how to like measure somebody like you see in the movies and stuff like that with like your little thumb and everything. Um, that's something I need to practice some more too. But I think that would be kind of cool. I'd like to do more like street art, not like art on the street, but like where you go out and you're actually hanging around people, like in a park or something like that, and you're drawing people that you see. That has been on my list for a while to like tackle. So one of these days, I'll get around to it. So, do you guys have any like cool names for Bigfoot, like Harry or Harold, anything like that? Has anybody seen a Bigfoot? That's a great question. I'm surprised I didn't think to ask that. Uh, Bigfoot sightings are not as uncommon as you may think. Like they have Melissa, Melissa the Bigfoot. That's hilarious. That's a great name for Bigfoot. So anyway, like Bigfoot sightings are not that uncommon. Like people see these guys. Now, who knows what they actually are? They could be like bears. They could be like, I don't know, something other than like an actual, you know, bipedal creature or whatever. But squatty, squat. I've heard the classic Bigfoot knocking. You've heard the what? Like you've heard knocking of a Bigfoot like in my mind when you said that I'm thinking like you're in a cabin or something. Bigfoot's like knocking on the door. But so you can see that like I'm kind of keeping this loose. So like some of these some of these fur things I'm just kind of like scratching across the paper, which I think like contributes to a nice cool like loose style. So some of this I'm trying to be precise, and then some of it like I'm trying to be a little bit loose. Like the face and stuff. I think that you need to take more care getting the face done. But as far as like these furs, these pieces of fur through here, I don't mind being a little bit loose with that. Some of this stuff you can do with like a charcoal stick, which I don't know. I'm just doing it with like a pencil because I've got the pencil going. But then some of this you probably want to blend in so that it's not so rough. You can't name it after your ex-friend dog. Um, I would love to see a Bigfoot out in the wild. The problem with Bigfoot is that, we live in an like increasingly small world, right? This is the problem with all these creatures, to be honest. So like if you go back to so the movie King Kong, right? So the movie King Kong takes place in the 1930s, and it's a perfect time for a story about King Kong because the 1930s was probably the last time in history where you could have a story like that and still be kind of like, well, maybe there is this gigantic, like prehistoric ape living out there on some deserted island or something like that. Like the 1930s is like, well, maybe there is this Loch Ness monster who has been living in this particular lake because it got cut off from like a glacier or something like that. The problem with modern times is that we things are mapped out so much. Like there are like trail cams and stuff all over the place just to catch deer and raccoons and stuff like that. It's very hard to like say, well, there is a Bigfoot. Like, where are they at? Like where are they hiding and stuff? I guess there is like, I mean, here in Kentucky, there's like so much forest. Like there was that guy it was terrible. Like in the news, he had shot at people just driving down the interstate, and that guy disappeared for a while. And they were having trouble finding where he, like, they found him, he was dead. But they were having trouble finding him just because there's so much forest out there. So, a scenario like that, you can think, yeah, maybe Bigfoot's hiding out. But I don't know. It's one of those things where it's like, I don't know where Bigfoot would be. Where's he hiding? Hey Keith, Amazon van drivers make 2,100 a week. What? 410s. I'm thinking about it. There's an opening. $2,100 a week as an Amazon van driver. Are you serious? I'm about to quit my job. My job is like doing like freelance software development, but um, it would be nice to be a van driver at that rate. That's crazy. All right, so now I got to make a foot over here as well. So let's see, get the little base of the ball of the foot, have it come down. This little guy over here has to be pretty big too, at least convincingly big. So let me get the big toe in here, bring it around, bring it kind of up a little bit, and then we got. I always have to count the toes. Same with the hand. I'm always afraid that I'm going to put in the wrong amount of digits, and then it's basically AI. That's the problem with AI art is like they're notoriously bad at putting in the right amount of digits on like hands and feet and stuff. One, two, three. Like if you're doing a cartoon like Simpsons and stuff, they only have like 3 fingers and stuff, so you can get away with it. But one, two, three, four, five. There we go. All right, we got five phalanges. Flanges. What are they called? Flank. What are the digits? I'm just gonna call them 5 digits because I don't want to use the wrong word and look like an idiot, like I always do. I am not good with the technical details. Rome Dog says this looks great. Thank you. I actually like this. I think it looks pretty good. All right, so we got foot going. I might work some more on this foot just to kind of like, you know, really want to get some shadow up in here a little bit. Develop that just a little bit more. I have to reach across the page so that I don't get smudge on anything. Let me get some shadow on these toes, and then we'll take a stab at like putting in some trees and stuff behind them so that it looks cool, like out in the woods. Sasquatch ain't taking no crap. He's stomping people. Beetles. He's like, yeah, I'm taking you out, beetle. All right. Anyway, that's not perfect, but it looks a little bit better, I think. All right, so now I'm going to try and get. First, I'm going to take a swig of my bourbon. We work off of bourbon on this show. One of these days, I'll put up like a donate button where people can donate bourbon. How does that work? Like, I can imagine that something like that probably exists. Like, where there's ways to donate beer, so like, why not bourbon? All right, so I'm going to try to get some trees in here in the background, just kind of rough in some pines. Make this guy look like he's out there in the woods taking care of business. Um, when you're working on like background stuff and everything, it doesn't have to be that realistic. First off, this would be like faded out in the distance and everything like that. Looks super cool. I'm a believer. Yeah. This looks like this looks like a real Bigfoot that you might have saw out in the woods. This could be the best Bigfoot drawing on the internet. I love it. That's what I'm talking about. I just want to be the best of something on the internet. That would be cool. So get some trees up in here. I gotta spend a lot of time on this. I don't want to get too close to the paw, the hand or whatever, just because I want to make sure I scan that. Get some as Bob Ross would say, happy little trees up in here. So let's get some some tree trunks and stuff. Down here we would have he's basically standing on like a creek bed or road of some sort or just like some clearing or something. There would be logs down here. Again, I'm just like kind of like abstractly putting in random stuff that I will kind of maybe make look a little bit better. Maybe some rocks down here, things like that. All right, so on this side, same deal. See if I can do this a little bit quicker with a brush. Yeah, cool. All right, so again, same deal. Got some happy little Bob Ross trees up in here with our Bigfoot. All right, so I want some trunks up in here. Again, don't need to worry about detail too much on these things. It's just filler. It's just to let you know that you are in the forest. Your dedication to live streaming and showing us details are unmatched. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, I enjoy doing these live streams. I'm gonna continue doing them forever, if I can. But I want them to be informative. I want them to be helpful. They're not always, but I kind of wish they would be. So I make an effort at least. But most of this is just me learning as I go. So I can't really expect it to be too educational. Now, if I go up and watch somebody else's tutorial and like I learn something new, or I read a book or something about doing this stuff, I will pass that on in a heartbeat. I'll show off like some new trick I learned or something like that. But for the most part, this is just me having fun, hanging out with you guys. I like hanging out with you guys more than I like doing the drawings. The drawings are just a way to get you guys to watch so that I can talk to you guys. That's the alter like the little trick here. Um, I'm so lonely. I need to talk to you guys to like feel good. And the only way I can do that is to trick you guys into watching by drawing art. That's the truth of it. I'm just kidding. But uh, Jeremy, excellent Bigfoot. Thank you. Yeah, this is all. This is all like just a trick to get you guys to talk to me. I'm just kidding. But obviously, if I do learn something new, I will pass that along to you guys. But mostly, it's just hanging out, having fun. So somehow I got to get some rocks up in here. None of this stuff has to be like that developed. Yeah, better than Bob Ross minus there. I do need like a big old fro. Yeah, like I could pull off a Bob Ross if I had a big old fro. That would be cool. Yeah. Well, you can't beat Bob Ross. Nobody can beat Bob Ross. Bob Ross was Bob Ross. But I like this vibe. I like what he was about. So yeah, I think I probably should have done this way to begin with. So like I want kind of like this little slope or something going on over here. So I don't want to spend too much effort up in these areas. I don't want to distract from the picture itself, but we can get some more stuff going on back here. Like I don't want to lose like where the foot is by doing this background, but we'll be okay. I think we'll be okay. We'll be all right, guys. It'll be fine. I just love how you guys always doubt that it's going to be fine, and it ends up being fine. Just kidding, of course. Sometimes it's not fine. Sometimes I screw up a picture, like after spending a lot of time on it, I end up making it look terrible. But I don't think that's going to be the case. So this is so smooth back here. I feel like I have to do the same on the other side, so I'm going to do that. I do like these. So like obviously I do like a lot of wildlife pictures and stuff like that. And that's probably like the main thing that I do. But I like to change it up every now and then, especially like when like holidays like Halloween and stuff are coming up. I like to do like monster pictures, just for the sake of doing that. All right, cool. So again, like, I don't want it to just kind of look like this. I want to see if I can get some a little bit of definition in here so that you can kind of have something to attach your eyes to. So I don't want to. I don't want to put in too much detail because that'll just so like there's a couple of different ways to like draw somebody's eye through the picture. One of them is by directing with shadows. So like you're kind of following the sun and stuff. So like you start with the light areas and move into the dark. But the other thing is like you create contrast, and one of the ways to create contrast is to like put a lot of detail in one area. That's where your eyes are going to be drawn to. If you like don't put a lot of detail in some other area, the eye's just not going to focus on it. It's going to move on past it and stuff like that. So you never really want to put a ton of detail in the background because then you don't have that sort of contrast. You want all the detail to be in the figure itself. And then, in the background, you kind of want to convey as much information as you need to, the minimal amount of information you need to convey what you're doing. So in this case, I need to convey that it's a forest, which I think, it's Bigfoot, it's kind of self-explanatory, so I don't have to do a lot of work there. Um, but yeah, just putting in a little bit of effort back here, just to make it look like actual trees, but not too much. You know, we don't want to distract from the main character in this story, which is the Bigfoot guy. Maybe put in a couple little lines to make you think that this is a evergreen pine or something of that nature back here. Just little scribbles, really. And down here, kind of maybe put in some bushes back in the background. Just little scribbles and stuff like that. I don't want to spend too much time on it. Over here, we can kind of get a little bit more it's defined back here with some like twigs and evergreen branches and stuff like that. I do want to kind of keep this foot defined, so I'm going to add a little bit more line to this so that it kind of stands out from the background. It was different when it was like over like white area and stuff like that. I wasn't concerned about losing the definition of the foot. Now I gotta put in these like little extra lines here just to kind of again bring that foot back out. We're down on time. We're okay on time. I tell you what, that's one of the interesting aspects of like a live stream. So like if I was just drawing this Bigfoot and it was like you know, you guys weren't here, we weren't having a conversation and stuff, I'd probably have like a movie on or like a TV show or something like that. Um, and I'd be kind of like zoned out. I'd be like watching TV while working on this, kind of like splitting focus and everything. So um, I wouldn't be keeping track of the time. That's an interesting aspect of doing these live streams, especially on weekdays when you know the people watching have to go to work tomorrow or school or something like that. I want to be respectful of people's time, so I always want to keep it under 2 hours. Um, but even like, you know, if I can get it closer to like an hour and a half or something like that, I don't think I can do a decent, well, I could do a decent picture if it was like really not full of detail within an hour, but it's not going to work out really. I really need about like 2 hours to do like a comprehensive picture. Um, Basically, I want to get a picture done before these dogs start getting riled up. But yeah, yeah. So like, it's kind of an interesting aspect of doing these live streams to be like so focused on time. But I would imagine on like actual television, it'd be the similar like Bob Ross. You know, we talk about Bob Ross a lot on this show just because he's an idol of mine. I love Bob Ross. Um, Everybody should love Bob Ross. Bob Ross is a freaking icon. But one of the things that was really interesting about it, like his art isn't the best, you know. It's not the most detailed. It's kind of a little bit generic. He always did the same things, but that's kind of like what was awesome about it. He was able to produce, you know, like consistent stuff. Like his stuff always looked the same. He was able to produce it in a short period of time, like under an hour or something like that. Um, you know, he was the artist for television, you know, like for, you know, there's better artists out there and stuff like that, but you couldn't find a better artist on television. That was his thing. And, you know, it's kind of interesting because I grew up with like, you know, watching Bob Ross and everything. I never knew until I started doing this live show what it's really like to kind of put constraints on yourself and try to get something done in a set amount of time and make it look decent. I don't like my standards aren't perfect. I'm not shooting for perfection. I'm shooting for something that's decent in a short amount of time. Something that I can do on like a YouTube stream and not be embarrassed by it. Some of the pictures I do, I am embarrassed by it, but well, we just delete those. You never see those again. Right. Yeah, it's kind of fascinating to me. Different artists have different goals. Some artists, like, they're trying to get a rise out of people. They're trying to like make a social statement or something like that. For me, it's just I want to provide a little bit of entertainment, make sure that you guys enjoy yourself. But it's about let's see how quickly we can get something done that looks decent. Never say oops while you're tattooing. That's true. He was a painting machine. Oh, Bob Ross? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I love Bob Ross. He's not just a painting machine, he's just a cool guy. Um, I've watched some backstories on him and stuff like that. He was just a cool guy. All right, let's see if I can get some stones up here in this front part, and then we can maybe call it done. So, like, there would be like some logs. So the great thing about doing like wood and stone and things like that is you can kind of just scribble it in and make something that looks decent. Because like this stuff, it is kind of abstract. Like whenever I'm doing nature or trees or things like that, I'm not super focused on detail. Plus, the further you get away from your main focus, which is like obviously the face and the foot, the more abstract you can get. It doesn't have to be anything that really like catches the attention and holds it. You don't want to hold somebody's attention on these rocks. These rocks are basically just like extra stuff just to kind of fill in some area. You don't want to you don't want to capture somebody's attention and hold it down here. I could probably do better with this stuff, but it's fine. Trying to get a nice little edge here. That whatever the insole. No, this would be the insole. The outsole. I know nothing about anatomy. Whatever this side of the foot would be called. Imagination Station. That's what I should name this channel. Anyone else remember Commander Mark? I don't actually. No. Take public television artist for 400, Alex. Mark Kistler. I don't know who that is either. If these are things that I should know because they were like artists on television and stuff like that. I'm sorry. I'm not very good with trivia. Um, One of the things is I like to only keep I get this from like Sherlock Holmes. So I'm a huge Holmes fan, and there are aspects of Sherlock Holmes that I feel like are just good things that people should latch onto and kind of like keep in their own, um, like brain or whatever, like their own skill set or something like that. And one of those is again talking about literature and stuff. I like literature, so of course I read Arthur Conan Doyle. Um, I like classic literature, and that's absolutely part of classic literature. So anyway, I'm a huge fan of Sherlock Holmes, and one of the things that Sherlock Holmes did is he only carried around useful information in his head. Like there's a rather famous part of A Study in Scarlet, which was one of the it was the first book that introduced Sherlock Holmes. Actually, I don't know if there were like stories that existed before A Study in Scarlet, but in the actual story of A Study in Scarlet, that's where Holmes and Watson meet, and they have this kind of exchange where he's talking about how now you got to remember this is the late 1800s, like early 1900s that Holmes lived. So when I say that, like they were having a conversation about whether or not the Earth revolves around the sun, that was kind of like not a well-known concept maybe back in the 1800s. That is something that um, maybe not everybody knew. But anyway, the interesting thing is that Holmes did not know. Like Holmes, the smart guy who solves all these crimes and stuff like that, he did not know that the Earth revolved around the sun. That was not part of his education, or like just you know stuff that he drew upon, like just from memory or something like that. It's something he would have had to go and look up in a book if he needed to know that sort of thing, that the Earth revolves around the sun, and that the sun is the actual center of the solar system. So anyway, they're having this conversation, and Watson is surprised that Holmes does not know this little simple fact that, like, basically you learn in grade school. Maybe not back then, but certainly now. Um, and they're having a conversation about it, and Sherlock Holmes says this thing that I thought was really interesting. He says, like, why would I fill my head with all this useless knowledge? He His point was that he would never need to know that the Earth revolves around the sun. It's just not part of like anything that he finds useful, and he would rather fill his head with useful things, and like get rid of all the nonsense of things that like don't matter, like aren't useful, things that you won't ever use. So I like that. I like the way he said that, and I try to apply that in my own life. So I don't try to fill my head with a bunch of like trivia, like nonsense things that take up like I don't know if there is actually an upper limit of how many facts you can carry around in your head, but practically there is. I know that like if you fill your head with a bunch of like trivia of stuff that's useless, it makes it harder to get at the stuff that really does matter. And I always like that aspect of like Sherlock Holmes's philosophy. So I try to apply that to myself. So like I don't want to know a bunch of useless things about things. I only want the useful stuff. If that makes sense. I don't even know how I got on the topic, but that is one of those things that I think is helpful in life. All right, so I think we're getting pretty close to being done here. I like this. Public television. Mark Kistler was the host of the Imagination Station, which was a kids drawing show. He did a lot of work on 3D and perspective drawing. Awesome. This is probably one of the most perspective kind of drawings that I've ever done. I like the layout here. I think it looks pretty cool. All right, so I just did a bit of work to kind of like extract him from the background, since I put in such a busy background. It wasn't meant to be so busy, but I think we're back on solid ground here. All right, I think we're pretty close to being done. Sometimes I like to add like little effects to this. Was he kicking, smashing logs for a fire shelter? Yeah, I don't know. Like use our own imagination here and come up with like a story for like what he's up to here. But it is he is definitely doing some shit kicking here. How's that? So I kind of want to like just put some drops in here and just kind of like get everything kind of like muddled together, just so that everything doesn't look like it's just kind of floating around. I want it to kind of like dissolve into each other. Things like using like these splatter effects and stuff. Those are really good with like abstract backgrounds where you just kind of want to demonstrate that there's stuff there, but you don't want it to be like too developed. It's fun because like I do the splatter stuff all the time, and I end up with like splatters everywhere. Like it's on the wall, it's on Geppetto, it's on my monitor screen, it's everywhere. It's so much fun. This splatter stuff would be so much easier if it was like digital. Um, but this is how you get that practical effect. There you go. That's what I want. So this is how, like, basically you can kind of get like an abstract forest going on behind them without too much effort. So we got a Bigfoot, I think. Hopefully that background doesn't take away from him. I don't think it does. I think we're good. Put in just a little bit of separation back here, just so you know where the arm is. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with this guy. What do you guys think? It's a solid Bigfoot, or try again? How are we doing on time? Yeah, it's probably a good time to wrap this up. But yeah, I think we're about done here. So this was actually a lot of fun. So like I like doing challenges like this. So keep them coming. Like this was totally based on a viewer challenge. Kid was always bringing it up every week doing a Sasquatch. I don't know, like Kid, did you come up with the idea to do this, or was somebody else? I don't recall exactly whose idea it was, but Kid was definitely the one who kept asking me to do it. So I'm glad I did. I think it looks pretty solid. It was a yeah, solid like Willie says. I appreciate that. Um, but this was a lot of fun, and doing it as a challenge where he's like the perspective of his foot being up there in the front and stuff, and having him in the back. I think it's pretty cool. So I don't know about like this little bit here. Like I don't know, like with the Furby. Oh, I think that's good enough. Anyway, yeah, you could always do Beetlejuice for Halloween. Hey, if that's what you guys want, I'll do Beetlejuice for the Halloween. I like taking requests, is what I'm getting at. So keep them coming. I see them as challenges, and I'm up for the challenge. It's always more fun to do what you guys want me to do rather than just like me going off on some tangent and just doing what I want. So usually what I want is what you guys want anyway. So they kind of coincide. But anyway, Bigfoot. So appreciate this. This has been fun for me. Beetlejuice for Halloween. That does sound cool. I like the new Beetlejuice movie. So if anybody hasn't seen the new Beetlejuice movie, go out and watch it because it is so much fun. It's a little convoluted. They have a lot of storylines going on and stuff. They could probably slimmed it down some. But minor critiques because overall I really enjoyed the movie. I don't have any real reason to complain. Um, so if you're looking for a fun movie, go and watch that. But anyway, I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on a Thursday night. Dog's ready to go outside. So I appreciate you guys hanging out with me on a Thursday night. That's been a lot of fun. I will be back on Tuesday with a new picture. I'm not sure what I'm going to work on. It probably is going to be another Halloween drawing, just because I do enjoy doing, seasonal type things. So we'll see what happens. Maybe it'll be Beetlejuice. We'll see. But I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. I will see you guys Tuesday and have a good one. Have a great weekend. All right. Bye, guys. Thanks.